Hello. Today, our lesson is reviewing linear equations and its graph, or their graphs. So, this is our objectives. I'm going to talk about lots of different things. But your essential question is this. I thought, what was the most important thing that you should take away from today? And I believe that is the question. So, hopefully by the end of this lesson, you'll be able to answer it. So, take a moment. Equations of a line. This is something that you will need forever in math. What are they? How many are there? So pause and write them down. Their names as well as the equations. Do you know them all? So there are 3. Slope-intercept form, point-slope form, and standard form. Which one do you guys know the best? That's right, it's the first one, slope-intercept form. That's the one that you tend to learn in Algebra 1 most, and that's the one that we tend to graph, because it's easy because M is the slope, right, rise and run, and then B is your your y-intercept. Now the standard form, or point-slope form, it's not one that we do often up until this point. But if you're moving on to calculus, it is the number 1 form that they use. We use this often, and a modified point-slope form. This should seem familiar to you. It comes from the equation of slope. And last of all is standard form. It's the one that we see the most, especially when you talk about conics. But notice that the A, B, and C are capital. This B is not the same as the y-intercept. They're just random numbers. Please note that A must be a natural number. For those who can't remember what a natural number is, that set is 1, 2, 3. So notice it can't be negative. I'm going to say that can't be negative or 0. Not a fraction, not a decimal. B and C is a set of integers, which is -3, -2, -1. Oops, sorry, ... 0, 1, 2, 3, ... So it can be positive and negative, but no fractions, no decimals when we talk about standard form. For those who may remember, and this is something we're going to remember or need to know in trig, the letter for integers is Z. All right, natural numbers is N, but integers is tricky. Anyway, so again, I digress. The A must be positive and a natural number. B and C must be integers. No decimals, no fractions for them. So we're going to take these equations of a line, and I know they're linear because the x and the y are both to the first power. We're going to write it into the standard form. Manipulation is a huge thing in algebra. And we're going to remember that this is standard form. So we don't find A, B, and C, we just move them into that order. So we're going to make sure x and y are both on the left. So, and again, no fractions for them, and A must be positive. So, first thing I'm going to do, well, I'm going to clear the fractions because I know how we feel about that. So I'm going to multiply 5, and we're going to deal a lot with fractions. This is why we had that lesson on that. Remember every term. Then I'm going to move the x to the other side. Subtracting x, right? You're going to do the inverse. And you only do the opposite when we move to the other side. So I'm looking at it and say, okay, is it what I said? Right, there's no fractions or no decimals, but A is negative. I don't want that. So I'm going to divide everything by -1. Again, it's equal, so what you do to 1, you have to do to all of them. Negative and negative and positive. And there you are, standard form. This one's a little bit different. A 3 was y-intercept form. This is just kind of just random numbers, it looks like. So I'm going to combine all the x's and y's. So I have 2 x's and y's, so I'm going to move them to the opposite side. Because I have that, that's going to be 0 on this side. Okay, that is x plus 5y. Standard form yet? Nope. We have x and y on one side, but I need to move the number without the variable to the other side. There you are. Right, standard form. All right, describe the slope of each line. Now, generally, you would say this is, so take a moment. What do we know? So we should know the slope of this one is 0. The slope is positive. M represents slope. Sorry, not positive. You're like Miss Mendoza. Glad you're paying attention. Negative. What about this one? Positive. And this one? No slope. Okay, so how do you really describe it? So slope is rise over 1. So what are we saying? So here we're saying, does it rise? Look at here. Does it go up or down? No. So we're saying there's no rise, but there is a run. Right? A run. Or a horizontal movement, is some people say. So depends on how you talk about it. So this, we can say that is a negative rise, because it's actually going down, and a positive run. Here we have a positive rise and a positive run. And here it rises, right? So I have a rise, but is there a run? No, it doesn't go this way, right? It doesn't move left or right, so no run. So for this one, if you look at this as a fraction, you're going to have a number on top, but you're not going to have a number in the denominator, which is 0, and that's why there's no slope. We do not divide by 0. All right, graphing. So graphing a line, usually we like it in slope-intercept form. Now, class, you may have other preferences, and that's fine. Go with it. So I'm going to put it in this. So it tells me I want to solve for y. So always look at your equation. So I do have y by itself. I mean, there's no coefficient, but I have to move this part. So I'm going to subtract the 8 and add the 4x. And you can do them. And now look at this. X comes first. Yes. You're like, no, x has to come first. It's just how it is. Okay? So, my slope is 4. My y-intercept is 8. We always graph the b first. So here, y. And my slope is 4 over 1. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. I'm going to do that one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. So I have a decent line. There you are. All right. So this, I have lots of things on this side. So I'm going to subtract the 3x first. And I think you guys just slap the 3x because of, oh, the 10 comes first. Move it. Say, out of my way, buddy. X comes first. And then you're going to divide by -2 to everything. So this is positive, and negative becomes positive. 10 divided by -2 is -5. So my m is 3 over 2. And you don't have to write this. I just like it. For students have questions, they know. So again, we have a -5. And now we have a fraction. Well, this is really a fraction. Remember, I said it was 4 over 1. So we have 3, 1, 2, 3 over 2. 1, 2, 3 over 2. Sometimes a b can be 0, all right, and that's okay. And sometimes the slope can be 0. All right, slope equation. This is on coordinate geometry. So if you're given 2 points, oh my gosh, look at me. Sorry. Oh, that's so silly. My bad. Okay, so I have 2 points. Now please note that the subscripting just means, the 1 just means first point. This one just means second point. That's what the 2 means. It doesn't really matter which point comes first. So if you're going to, which one? Doesn't matter. But what matters is if you do this point first, they must match that way. Rise over run. Rise over run. Remember, the rise is the y's and the run is the x's. So please be careful. It's y over x. Some students get confused on that. So it's rise over run. You may also know as delta y over delta x. For those who know rate of change, the change in y over the change of x. And we will use that term as we continue on. So you may want to take a moment, read how it says, find the slope of, my typing's not so good, Gloss, I'm sorry. Find the slope of a line that contains the points, -7, 0, and -6, 8. So for some people, they like to write this way to help them. Again, it doesn't really matter because if -6, 8 came first over here, then that would have been x1, x1, y1. And yes, the slope is the same. All right, so y2, so slope equals, yes, I like to put the m, y2, so it's 8 minus 0 over -6 minus a -7. All right. Does everyone see how I put that negative and negative? This is really important here. Some people will miss that and will only put 1. You have a minus from here. That's one of them. That's this one here. But you also have the negative from the 7, which is here. So you need to put both. A lot of students get that wrong for just rushing through that. So this is going to make to a positive. So this is 8 over 1. So it simplifies to 8. All right. Region of slope. All right. And that's it. Answer your essential question. Again, in your own terms. All right. Good luck on the worksheet. Bye.